guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I wanted to go through my favorite slow media that I consumed during this past season. I didn't want to call it the past month because really this was all since the start of the year, and I also feel like that's one of the things that makes it slow consumerism, is that I'm not putting myself in a timeline that I need to finish this book in a month or something like that. It's more, in this case, on a seasonal basis. So hopefully this becomes a series in the channel. Also, I made this berries and cherries matcha just now using what was left of the jam, and it is incredible. My laptop here just with some notes, so if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. First, as an introduction to the video, I wanted to go through what I think or what I feel like slow media is to me. So in short, I would define it ways of consuming that doesn't basically brain rot my brain and that just make me feel more alive. I enjoy being deliberate and mindful when it comes to consuming, and most importantly, me having control of what I am consuming, instead of just letting an algorithm to decide that for me. So you can already guess that apps like TikTok are not going to be in the list because the app is constantly bombarding you with information, and honestly I cannot tell you what the last 10 videos I saw were about. I have TikTok as well, I use it as well, but I feel like in order to make a change you have to acknowledge that you have a problem, and I feel like most of us do. I feel like with a lot of media that we consume nowadays, you can't really tell what it was, you don't remember it, it doesn't stick with you. It just numbs your brain. So that just means that while you were watching it, you were just not aware and not present. So some rules that I have set myself to kind of categorize the media that I've consumed into slow media is, first of all, media that is not toxic, but also doesn't need to be productive every single time. Media that focuses on my passions, so that includes sustainability, sustainable fashion or consumerism, literature, art, design, that kind of stuff. And whenever possible, I like to prioritize physical media instead of digital media. Some benefits that I have felt while switching to mostly consuming slower media has been that, first of all, I remember what I consume, my attention span has improved, and I feel much less anxious. So without further ado, let's start with my favorites. Hopefully you can hear this. So the other day I was in Manchester and I saw this magazine shop. It's called Uniton. I think you can also order from them online, but it's basically a shop just with magazines, really cool magazines, and I feel like they cater to every niche, like art, design, environment, fashion, etc. So you can find anything that you have a niche interest in. And I feel like magazines are just so good. You can find so many good up and coming artists, designers, authors, journalists as well. It's just so good. So some of my favorites so far, we'll start with we'll start with the physical ones. So I'm obsessed with the National Geographic. These are just a few, but they are just so good, especially the old ones. Some of these are quite new, but yeah, I would recommend picking up. I mean, I'm interested in this, so you don't necessarily need to pick up these magazines, but if you're interested in history, environment, sustainability, National Geographic is a really good one. This magazine is called Breathe and Make Time for Yourself. This is a magazine about well-being, mindfulness, creativity, escapism, etc. And it's really good. It's got some really good articles that kind of help you slow down. It's definitely not one of those self-help kind of articles. It's the photography as well. I think it's beautiful. Lastly, I have here Vogue. So this one, whoops, I don't want to break it. This one is Vogue from 1999, September 1999, which is the month and the year that I was born. This was actually a gift, and it was such a good gift. There's so many good articles. I only read Vogue when I know that there's some interesting stuff in there, because I'm not that into the new magazines that they have, but the old ones are honestly so good. The photography, the art, the articles, totally recommend them. Atmos, for example, this is an environmental magazine. I love the photography in the aesthetic. It is so beautiful, and it's actually like largely printed, super nice. I love Ecos. It's kind of a mix of ecology and sound. The print is it kind of has like this metallic feeling to it. If you ever get a chance to feel it in person, I would definitely go for it, because it felt very different. The topic as well is kind of like a mix of technology, ecology, sound, very, very niche, but it's just things that I feel like I haven't read anywhere else. And one good thing about this is that you can just discover new interests that you didn't even think existed before. The articles also very, very well crafted, and I love that I don't think they have ads, which is something that I really appreciate in a magazine. This Issue magazine. This one is a magazine that's based in Copenhagen, and I think the editor's name is Freya. I would say it's a very avant-garde magazine, very minimalistic, and it kind of reminds me of the brand Paloma Wool. So it's got a lot of like toned down colors, pastels, very minimalist feed on Instagram as well. I initially followed them on Instagram because I thought it was just an amazing feed, but they have a really, really good magazine that I would definitely recommend. I love how it looks at archiving, collecting when it comes to the creative context. Through a curated mix of archival materials, vintage artifacts, and contemporary pieces, it explores how the past informs the present. And this is from their website, by the way. And it says reshaping our understanding of consumption and value. Then I have another kind of classic one, O32C. This is a Berlin-based magazine, and I initially heard of it because of brand awareness, but it's honestly so good. My next recommendation is Substack. I have started using Substack only from January this year, so I'm pretty new, and I'm thinking about actually publishing a few things there, because sometimes I journal and I think, wow, I feel like some people would really enjoy reading this. And I think Substack is the perfect app to publish that in. But in terms of articles that I have consumed that I thought were really, really good, that I would recommend you to read through as well. The first one is I Want to Do Everything, So I Do Nothing. This is written by Louisa on Substack. It describes how we sometimes feel this overwhelming feeling by having a multitude of interests and career paths, which then in a contradicting way leads you to feeling paralyzed and not being able to make one decision. It kind of reminded me of the fig tree analogy by Sylvia Plath, which is one of my favorite literature quotes ever. But the Substack reflects on how she's got this daily struggle of focus and productivity, and the pressure to having to choose one single path from all of the ones that she wants. And I think this is very relatable, because some people just have a hard time finding one niche, and I think that's a big problem of the internet now. And then she talks about how she felt inspired by a character, and and then she decides to focus on one passion at a time, and that currently that passion is writing. I like how she advises people to just be more nice to yourself about being a beginner at things as well, which I think is not talked about enough. So yeah, I really enjoyed that Substack, and it kind of made me think about my own struggles of not having one specific niche. The next Substack that I really loved about this season was Why Time Felt Slower When We Were Kids by Jana Juhai. And this is all about the trend going around called nostalgia core, which I hate anything that is called nostalgia, anything that ends with core, like please. Which evokes longing for the past through images and music. And she discusses how her childhood felt more vibrant, and time seemed to stretch. This is because we were more attentive, more present, and as we get older, especially getting jobs after uni, life becomes more of a routine, and then because of that, our perception of time kind of compresses. The next Substack that I loved was Things I Notice When I Am Not Rushing by Kitty. And I was reading this at the park, and I was really like taking it in. Honestly, such a good Substack. I definitely recommend you read at least one of these. This would be the one. Here, the author reflects on the value of slowing down and noticing the world around you. So she describes how moving at a slower pace allows you to appreciate the smaller details and feel more connected to your surroundings and yourself as well. She then contrasts this with the kind of numbing effect that social media has on us, which then lets you feeling just unfulfilled and unconnected. I also like how she acknowledges that slowing down can sometimes be almost a luxury. Unfortunately, not all of us can do that, but definitely something to think about. Item that I have is podcasts. So for this season, I only have one recommendation. There's some podcasts that I listen to on a consistent basis, the Huberman Lab podcast, but for this season, I wanted to focus on brand awareness by Brenda Weiser, Brenda hashtag. I've been really loving her podcasts, especially because they're not too long. So they're just like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour max. So it's nice when I go for like a morning walk just to listen to that, or while I'm working because I work from home. Yeah, it's just been really, really good. She talks about all the ins and outs of fashion, of the fashion industry, Fashion Week. It's very interesting to see how that world actually works. In terms of books, of course, because it wouldn't be one of my videos if we don't talk about books. So the first recommendation that I have, I got in Egypt. This is The Interpretation of Dreams by Freud. It says Sigmund Freud's most revolutionary and important work, newly translated and edited by James Strachey. As you can see, it's old, which I love. And I got it secondhand. You can also see that I'm not finished. It looks like I just started. But honestly, I've been reading this for almost 3-4 weeks now. And something that I stopped using is actually Goodreads. I still love the app. I just feel like I don't need this pressure of feeling like I need to read 30 books a year. So what I've been doing is just taking my time with books. This is very condensed information. It's about how he's studying dreams, some case studies, some clients that he's had, some of his own dreams, and how he tries to decode them. It's very, very interesting, but it's basically not something that I would just quickly run through. So I'm really trying to take my time with the books that I'm reading and just being more mindful of what I'm reading. I don't want to read a few pages and then realize I wasn't paying attention and having to start from the beginning again. I'm just taking my time, and that's something that I really, really, really been enjoying. A manga book. This is Gyo? Not sure. And it is by the horror master Junji Ito. It's about something happening in Okinawa. I love this so much. I love the art. While they're easy to read, I kind of pay more attention to the art detail. Like I have to have a sip after each section. But this section called Photography Archives. And that's just alternative ways of getting inspiration that does not include Instagram or your conventional ways of photography archiving and that kind of stuff. And this is Hard Liver on Instagram, but they have an app called River. What I love about this, first of all, the creator, I don't know if she created the app or something, but I think she did. It's just amazing. I love how it is so minimalistic and so back to when Instagram used to actually be real pictures of people, and just a way of archiving your own life without feeling that pressure of social media is such a refreshing idea, I think. And yeah, I've just been really enjoying just seeing realness. Yeah, that was all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one.